So after we've said Shema, and we've talked about the oneness of God, like in real terms of oneness, like oneness and no otherness. So then we whisper the words Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusa Le'olam Va'ed. We whisper these, what are they, 6? Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusa Le'olam Va'ed. 6 words. We whisper these 6 words. Now, there's a couple of questions. One, why do we whisper them? Secondly, why do we say them? Because they're not part of the Torah. Meaning when we start Ve'ahavta, that's back to the Torah. That's what comes after Shema. Why do we pause and whisper these other words? But what I want to share with you is the following. The reason we whisper is because how Hashem is hidden in creation. That's the idea. Whispering, when you whisper to someone, you're trying to hide what you're saying. So we're saying God is ultimate oneness, but there's a world down here. There's like physicality. So when I mention how God infuses the physical world with His oneness, I'm going to whisper that. Okay, we have the same notion in I'm not going there right now, but whatever. There's a small hay in the Torah. You know how there's some letters are big in the Torah and some letters are little. There's a tiny hay in the Torah, and we learn that God created the world with that tiny hay. Why with the tiny hay? Because the world is such a downside, such a step down conversion of infinite oneness. That it's this little concept. So that's the whispering. That's why we whisper. But the actual words, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchus Elam Va'ed, every one of those words is actually a code word for downsized. Every word is a code word for this kind of finiting, if you can turn finite into a verb, finiting of infinite. Creating finite from infinite. This downsizing, this squelching, this veiling, this occulting into physicality. So, for example, the word Baruch. The word Baruch means to lower also. It's from the word knees. The word in Hebrew for the word for knee is berech. If you look at my stature now. Okay, let's say I'll put this pen at my height. Look at my stature now. When I put my knees down. Okay? When you have a camel go down, you ever seen a camel go down? It first goes down its front legs and then it slides down. But it goes to its knees. The word is lahavriach. It's this bringing down. So the whole point of the knees is humility and bringing down. And some people pray on bent knees. Other religions, we do. We go down on our knees on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and then all the way down. But it all starts. It's to be korea, to go down on your knees. V'anachnu korim. That's the knees, just lowering. Okay, that's Baruch. The next word is Shem, which means name. Baruch Shem Kavod, right? Name. The word name, right? Shem, is what it means is that Hashem created the world ultimately with Himself, out of His names. He used names to create the world. There's many names of God, and each one relates to something. There's a name of expanded flow, which is Yud and He and Vav and He, Hashem. There's a name of Shah and then Dai. It says it on the mezuzah, Shin Daled Yud. What's that mean? Shed Dai. That it's enough. That's a limiter type of name of God. Limits. It's enough. You don't bowl over the creation with infinite light. Name Elohim, which kind of gives, it's also a bordering name that creates a more of a vessel for the light to fill in. So the whole world is made of God's name. So Baruch means to lower. Shem is how God, so to speak, shows up in physical. Of course, so to speak, because God doesn't necessarily show up in physical, but you understand that's Shem. Kavod, the word kavod means honor or glory. And the word kavod is also meaning, I don't know how to tell you this exactly, but one of the names for God in this world is kavod. They say are the angels, they don't know who to bow down to. Whether to bow down to God or bow down to us. They don't know who to bow down to because they see that Hashem's kavod is both here and there. although the true place of God's kavod is up there. Malchuso is obviously meaning this world. Malchuso means his kingdom. Melech, Malchuso, his kingdom. So, and then Le'olam is also talking about this world, because you know what the root ayin lamed mem means?
World.
It means world, and also means hidden. Ne'elam means hidden. So God is hidden in the world. He's hidden in the physicality. So it's the same, every word of that sentence is hinting at this oneness. And then Va'ed. Va'ed that's a more Kabbalistic one. It's a play on the word Echad. The last word of Shema is Echad. And the word Va'ed is a Kabbalistic numerical play on the word Echad. Okay. That's Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusa La'olam Va'ed. So where we've gotten to now is we've understood that God is, that oneness. So there's there's inside space and time, and there's outside space and time. And Hashem is ultimately both inside and outside space and time. Really, it's all His oneness. That's all there really is. But then what we're going to be discussing now is to go into understanding. Let's bring our circle back now. What we're going to be understanding is how infinite moves towards the finite. So what we're going to find is that there's intermediate stages of infinite moving towards finite, and we're going to understand those stages in detail. So it would look like this. You've got this is like outside space and time on this side. Then you've got this whole new realm in the middle, which has two stages. Stage 1 is here. Stage 2 is here. And then stage 3 is our world. Meaning we live inside here. Our galaxy would be like that dot there. Inside there. Now it's all made of God. And I would keep the squiggly lines throughout the whole thing, representing that it's all really of God. But I've now created some space. It's so to speak, it's not real space, but I've created the space for these intermediate sections of creation, of going from this eminent outside space and time to this imminent inside space and time with the intermediate stages. So what it turns out in the end is what Kabbalists generally discuss is 4 worlds, 4 different realms. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, 2 of them we've already discussed in great detail. One is God's absolute oneness surrounding the creation. We've also we don't need to discuss the fact that we live inside this world. I mean, when you see a bus driving down the street, it's something you might want to think twice about before you step off the curb. We know this world has its reality to it. This is like the Matrix. This is what's creating the Matrix, meaning what's emanating the world. But these intermediate stages are filtering stages, which are filtering out the infinite light to become ultimately matter. Now, physicists and Kabbalists agree basically down the line. But most importantly, physicists agree with Kabbalists that the world is made of light energy. And so too the Kabbalists say that out here is this emanation of light energy. We call it the Or Ein Sof in Hebrew. It's called the Or Ein Sof. Or Ein Sof. And they would call it light energy. And the Or Ein Sof is only going to create light. Anything it creates is light. It's all it does is emanate. It emanates light. Well, if it emanates light, then all there will be is light. The only way that there can be a physical world is if that light is filtered out in some way. which is very much like a film projector.